Dale Barber. Mr. Dale Barber is my co-pilot for this evening. I am the host. I'm hosting because we've got no Danny. We've lost Lee. We'll be getting Josh very, very soon once he gets back into his house and all sorted. But never mind all that. We're here. Welcome. It's 4M1T, episode number 42. What a day. Before we even get into it, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Follow us on social. We are 4M1T across social. We're on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We're on bloody everything. Speaking of YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search for 4 Manx 1 Toffee. For some reason, we can't change the channel name, but that's who we are. That's who we originally were. So go search for us on there. To be fair, if you search for 4M1T on YouTube, you'll find us anyway. And we are live tonight. So drop your comments and your questions below. We will answer them on air. Trust me, you're going to want to get involved with this one tonight because it has been hectic today. On a day where the sun's been shining and weather records have been broken everywhere. On a day where Carlo Ancelotti has been given a lifetime quarantine from Liverpool. And on a day where if you put your profession down as a right-back on the 2021 census, you probably got a phone call from Gareth Southgate about the England squad. Dale, how you doing, mate? You okay?
Oh, well, bit half an hour. I've just had my first jab today. I feel fucking knackered now. No, but other than that, I'm right. You know, I've seen the England squad, and we'll get onto that shortly, won't we? So,
yeah. I tell you what, I had my COVID jab, yeah, but you know, they put it in my leg.
Eh?
They put it in my leg, and you know, as soon as I went home and I rested up a bit, and I woke up the next morning. Do you know what I thought the next morning? I felt the pain. I thought, "Fuck me, my thighs are killing me."
Oh God!
Is that COVID joke? Yeah, it's not funny, is it? Well,
and we move on.
Yeah, we're getting over it. There was no COVID. I think we had another day of no COVID deaths today, didn't we? So it's looking positive. Obviously, it's been bleak in the past, haven't we? But we're starting to get towards the end of the end of the light. Reach the light at the end of the tunnel, aren't we? Which is amazing. Yeah. So let's get on to the first bit anyway. And the first thing we're going to go on to, which is England announcing the 26-man squad.
Yep.
How are you feeling about squad?
All in all, majority of it, I'm quite happy with. We do have what appears to be 25 right backs, but he's come out for his reasonings for why he's got obviously them 4 in there. Well, especially Trent in there, which reading things this morning wasn't looking likely. Let's put it that way. It was a bit touch and go from what I was reading this morning, but I was surprised with the Lingard one. I did think he had done enough to warrant being in the final 26. I think Saka for me might have been the one to not be in there, and obviously put Lingard in there instead. But let's say Trent as well. I know he had a good ending to the sort of the season, but on the balance of things, the other 3, Trippier, James, Walker, arguably have had much better seasons for longer periods of the season as well. I mean, I know it was on one game, but James on Saturday for Chelsea was absolutely ridiculous. He was fantastic. So yeah, a couple of ones I would like to was a bit, like I say, didn't think deserved to be in there, but then they are on standby, I guess.
Well, honestly, I've lost my head about this about 1,000 times today. So the first one we need to go over is the right back situation. I don't care. I've heard professionals talking about this today. I don't care what theories you've got, and I don't care what Gareth Southgate says about, well, one can play right back and wing back, and one can play in midfield, and one can play right back and left back. Gary, if you chose 4 right backs, mate, just call a spade a spade. The right backs, they're all right backs, and you've chose 4 of them. We have 5 midfielders in the entire squad. 5 midfielders in the entire squad. And one of them is Jordan Henderson, who's not played for months. And if we lose Jordan Henderson or any of those other midfielders, we've then got 4 midfielders. We have as many midfielders as we have right backs in the squad. Well, what are we doing? One of them's not going to play. And I heard the argument before about one of the selections was James Ward-Prowse, who missed out. And I get that people think, he's only played for Southampton and they've not done well this season. And really, he's just a bit of a dead ball specialist and stuff. To a certain degree, I do agree. But I'd rather have James Ward-Prowse than another right back. We've got if we lose 1 or 2 more midfielders, we're up a creek without a paddle. I don't understand. We've got no cover in that area of the park. You'd think you'd want to bolster up the areas where you're thinking, got a couple of injury doubts and concerns. And, Grealish is another one. Grealish has only just come back from injury. But then we're telling Lingard to go. Well, we've not told him to go home. He's playing in the fucking friendly tomorrow, apparently. What's that about? He's playing in the friendly. A warm-up game for Euro 2021. He's not even in the squad. I can't get my head around it, mate. I don't know how you feel about
that. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It sort of makes you think, what sort of formation is he going to be playing now? If he's got that many, what was it, 10 defenders in total?
Yeah.
And he's got, Rice, Henderson, Phillips. Are we going 5 at the back? Kind of that formation.
I think we are.
2 holding sort of midfielders, and then obviously you've got just an abundance of talent up front, in the wide left, wide right, centre forward. Take your pick. Any one of them could, in that position. I don't think you could argue with if whoever started in sort of those positions. So it makes me think he's sort of going to maybe that 3 centrals, 2 wing backs, kind of that 5 at the back kind of thing. And then the 2 sitting in. So, but that screams to me sort of more defensive than
it's mad, isn't it? We've got Croatia
sort of attacking football, but
yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Croatia, Scotland, and Czech Republic. And I mean, I know Croatia World Cup finalists 3 years ago, and I know they knocked us out of the semi-finals, but that's Croatia 3 years ago. Their best player is still Luka Modric, and Luka Modric is, 33, 34 now?
Yeah,
he's not. They're on the last legs. Teams go through cycles, and Croatia had a very good team. Still don't think it was good enough to beat us. I think we beat ourselves more than anything, but they had a very good team. They just don't anymore. They're not the team that they were 3 years ago. So I'm not bothered about them at all. 2-0 loss incoming now. Scotland shouldn't really cause any problems. Got good players, but it shouldn't cause us any problems. This is all theoretical on paper, not being disrespectful rather to anyone. And the Czech Republic, I mean, I couldn't tell you a player that plays for the Czech Republic. I was interested in the Czech Republic in the noughties when they had, Petr Cech and ballers like that playing for them. They've not got players like that anymore. Even in the 1990s, the likes of Boborski and stuff, they've not had players like that for a long, long time. It's just strange squad selections. We've got a comment from here from Daniel Norton. All right, lads, I've had Danny on our channel a few times. I'm guessing this is Daniel Norton from Talk Total Football. Danny was on their podcast last week doing the end of season review, which I caught and actually love that podcast. Belton podcast. Go and give them a listen if you can, guys. Go and follow them at Talk Total Football. I'm sure if you search for them on social and YouTube, you will find them. Loving the content. Thank you very much, bud. I think Conser not being anywhere near the 33 provisional squad is mental. Miles better than Mings. Anyone you're shocked about? I think Mings has had a bit of a disappointing end to the season. I think Conser probably has been their best defender. So it has shocked me a bit that Mings has gone. But I think this is quite consistent with where Gareth Southgate is. He picks his favourites.
Yeah.
I think like another example of that would be, not to say Mount, because Mount absolutely deserves his place. And I think I was one of the ones who was very critical of Mount earlier on in the season, thinking, what exactly does he do that the others in his position don't, like, so your Fodens and your Maddisons and your Grealishes and stuff. But Mount, even if he had an abysmal end to the season, he was always going to go to this Euros because Gareth Southgate loves him. Harry Maguire's going to the Euros injured potentially because Gareth Southgate loves him. Is that why players like Konsa and Bamford just can't get a look in? Because there's other players that Gareth Southgate just thinks, no, I can't drop them, even if they're playing badly.
Yeah, I mean, I did read it before that he said if he could take like 6 right backs, he would have took them. I don't know if he's just got this, like say, obsession with sort of certain positions. I mean, he's looking for obviously like utility players as well, and he can play sort of multiple positions. But I'm with you. I don't think Mings sort of finished the season the best. But then again, Villa in general did have a bit of a poor sort of finish to the season. So yeah, I mean, Konsa arguably was, one of the better defenders, in terms of the full season in general. I think I put it in the group chat as well this morning. I probably would have taken as many of the players from the World Cup as possible for that experience as well.
Experience.
I know we've got a lot of younger players, coming through, and they've not had as much sort of tournament experience, especially sort of deeper end. I mean, I know we got to a semi-final a couple of years ago, but players like Lingard was part of that group, and I thought he might have been a valuable asset for those sort of occasions as well.
I'm shocked about Lingard. I really am.
I mean, I'm just looking at the team we put out against Belgium when we got the 3rd, 4th place playoff. I mean, Maguire was in there, Pickford was in there, Stones was in there. All 3 of them are, in the team. Now Trippier was in there, and then with Sterling and Kane, they started as well.
Yeah, Sterling and Kane were like our 2 big ones, 2 big sort of attacking options, weren't
they? So we have got players in there, but not in all sort of positions either. Let's say I think the rest of that midfield was Rose, Delph, Dyer, and Loftus-Cheek.
Loftus-Cheek, I forgot he went.
But yeah, I think like I say, Lingard for me would have brought that sort of bit more of a tournament experience as well, and plus a bit of form. He had both there.
He's one of the players of the season. I mean, I know he only went to West Ham in the new year, but God, the way he's looked in that West Ham side. That goal, was it against Wolves? He ran the entire pitch and slotted it home. That's unbelievable. Like, who else do you know in the Premier League who could come off the bench with 15 minutes left to go and give you just brilliance like that? Driving forward, like unbelievable in between the lines, especially with the form that he's in. Like, just dead tricky to pick up in between those lines, in between midfield and attack. Like, just exploiting space, quick, powerful, great shooting. And let's face it, Lingard scored some worldies in the past, so it's not like he's not adept from having a go from outside the box. And the thing is, when he's a confidence player, when he's got confidence, that's when he's most dangerous. And I know that's a silly thing to say. Everyone needs confidence to be at the best. But Lingard is one of them. When he's confident and he's got a run of form on him, he looks like a Ballon d'Or contender. He just looks like everything he touches turns to gold. I would have thought he'd want to bring more players like that.
Yeah, but
it's a shock, isn't it? There's some of them. We'll have a look at now. So, got a little graphic here, and it shows you actually got booted out of the squad today. We'll take the writing off there so everyone can see. So, obviously, Ramsdale wasn't a surprise. I don't think Godfrey and Ben White were a surprise either. I think Ward-Prowse, Lingard, and Mason Greenwood were obviously the shocks. Mason Greenwood, a little bit different because he was injured and he was pulled out. And then Ollie Watkins didn't make it, but then Bukayo Saka did, which caused a bit of, not furore online, but there's a few people who I can understand don't really get that decision because they think Watkins has had a better season. He certainly put up better numbers. The question for me is, we'll focus on Mason for a second because he's a bit different. He's had the injury. If Mason wasn't injured, would he have made it, do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. And
who would have had to lose out for him?
I think Saka might have gone. Actually,
Do you think he was a weak? Yeah, I think the same. I think Saka was probably the weak link. I think he's the one who's benefited from Mason Greenwood being ruled out, basically.
Because I think Mason would fit the way, like say, Gareth wants sort of like utility players as well, which I think Mason can play. Obviously, he's played on the right wing, sort of right forward for United. He's also played up front as well. I mean, he could probably do a job on the left as well, even though we've got plenty of players on that side. So there's multiple positions he can play, which I think is why sort of Saka's in there, because of his injury to Mason. I think they're, if he wasn't injured, I think it would have been Saka that would have dropped out, and Mason would have made it. But
we talked about other people as well, but maybe one person that we've not sort of touched upon. We said Bamford a minute ago. Danny Ings. Danny Ings didn't even get in with a shout at the 33, and I know this has been spoken about over the last week. But why Watkins and Calvert-Lewin in the squad and not Danny Ings, who kind of ticks all the boxes? He's put up decent numbers this season, and not only that, he's got experience in and around that England squad as well.
Yeah, I just don't think he's had saying that. Like I say, he's got the experience, hasn't he? Of being sort of in and around the squad for a while. Though I don't think he's had his best season this season, but then again, Southampton haven't in general anyway. It's a tough one because, like I say, you've got Kane. Kane was always going. Calvert-Lewin to me was always going. And it was, like I say, it was a bit of a toss-up between, do you have a third sort of centre forward type? Ings, Bamford, Watkins. I mean, was Jamie Vardy ever close to coming out of retirement for this? You don't know.
No,
but
I don't even think there was a discussion there that was had.
Again, it's one of them. As he looked at having a third out and out centre forward, or is he looking right? I'll have my two main ones in Kane, Calvert-Lewin, and then I've got whoever like a backup in Rashford. Sterling can play there. He's got a couple of other players which can sort of play in that position. Not out and out, but they have played there for clubs. So
if he really needs to. Yeah, if he really needs to. It'll be interesting. We'll shoot on to we'll talk about obviously the fallout from the Europa League and Champions League. Sorry, Dale, but we've got to do it, mate. We've not done it yet since last week, so we'll have to cross over it. And we'll round back over to it when Josh comes in a bit, because I'm sure he'll want to talk about the England stuff. But I think he's probably banking on Kane being fit for the entire tournament. But what I'd quite like to see is a little bit of rotation. So I'm fully expecting Kane to start against Croatia. I think he'll probably start against Scotland. If all goes well, though, and we win 2 games out of 2, not that I'm saying there's a bit of tactics that have to go in, but I'm sure everyone who is an England fan knows by now, because we're getting dangerously close to the start of the tournament, that if we top our group, we've potentially got a very nasty first knockout game, because we've got the runner-up of the group of death, I think, or they're calling it this year's group of death. But if we come second, we've got a slightly easier route. I'd quite like to see a second-string team come in for that Czech Republic game if we beat Scotland and we beat Croatia and get the 6 points on the board. That's when I think you'll see the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jack Grealish, who I don't think is going to start, but he'll be floating in and around. He'll probably be one of those bench impact players that comes off. I don't think he'll be the starting sort of guy on the left wing. Realistically, it's probably going to be Rashford if we're going off history with Gareth Southgate, but it could be Foden. He could put Foden on the right, put Sterling on the left. It's the questions around the front that I think are unanswered, even though everyone's focusing on what's going on with the back. But I think his selection today with the 4 right backs, you hit the nail on the head before. I think he's definitely going to go 5 at the back because he doesn't like the fact that Maguire's missing out.
Yeah, I mean, how fit's Maguire going to be as well? I know Henderson has been out injured as well, but I know he's been training. But Maguire, I mean, I've not seen anything of him, obviously, since he picked up that injury. And, he was, I think Ollie said he was walking prior to, the Europa League final. But, walking to running to full-on training,
I don't think we'll see him in the groups.
If he's not fit for the groups, does he then walk into the squad? If we get past the group stages, does he then walk into the squad if he is fully fit, or does Gareth then trust what he's already used?
He has to, doesn't he? You can't have Maguire. I think we've just seen how important Maguire is to us at the end of the season as United fans. Everything for United just fell apart. As bad as we've been, even with him at times this season, I think he is. We need Maguire back and we need Henderson back. If we're going to have any chance of winning this tournament, we need those two players. I know they're not the fancy players. They're not Phil Foden and Mason Mount and Jack Grealish and the players that are going to score the goals and win you the games, but they're absolutely essential to the spine of our team if we're going to win this Euros. I don't think Stones is going to be able to carry defence on his own. I don't think going 5 at the back is going to be the way to go because we're sacrificing one player further up the pitch who could make the difference for us in the places where we're strong. And is Rice, is he mentally and physically strong enough to command the midfield for an England Euros winning side on his own? Or does he need Henderson next to him? Henderson, I think, on his own, can do that. He can carry that burden on his shoulders. Can Declan Rice do that on his own? I'm not 100% sure.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. Moving on. We've got to address it. The fallout from the Europa League and the Champions League, both underdogs just defying the odds. Feels strange to say that with Villarreal and United being favourites. When do we ever find ourselves favourites in the last 8 years? But there you go, that's where we are. Did us on penalties, horrendous, both from the players and tactically from Ollie, just got everything wrong. And then Pep Guardiola, who's supposed to be the best manager in the world ever of all time, did exactly the same thing on the Saturday night following, let's call it a calamitous defeat in Poland. We'll go over United first because it was a lesser game, let's face it. It's the Mickey Mouse European Trophy. Ollie not making a substitute until nigh on the game ending, trying to rely on the starting 11, obviously not having any faith in what's on the bench. I mean, where does the blame lie? Does it lie with Ollie for not being tactically astute enough to get us over the line against, let's face it, a bang average Villarreal side? Is it the players? Are they just burnt out from the same 11 to 12 to 13 players having to carry us all season? Is it the board's fault for not providing us with the squad, the strength and depth off the bench that Ollie can turn to them and bring someone on to make a difference? What did you think of the game, mate?
Well, first of all, I think obviously the management on both sides was one difference. You've got a manager that's been there, done it 3 times prior to that. I think that was his 4th win. Yeah. In the Europa League. So there's one manager that's, obviously been there, done it before. And you've obviously got Ollie who's, still trying to win his first sort of trophy with United. But again, management, Villarreal, he set them up exactly how, the teams that we have struggled with the last couple of seasons have been exactly how he set that Villarreal team up.
Yeah.
They had, twos within 5 minutes, you knew exactly the game plan. It was just, you could have the ball, you can break, you try and get through us. We're not, we're going to stop. We're just going to put, 11 men behind the ball pretty much. You try and break us down. We can't break teams down, unfortunately. They're the teams that we've struggled with the last couple of seasons, and it was evident again Wednesday night. And the tactical management won it at the end of the day. You know,
Yeah.
were they great? No, they wasn't. But they got the job done by just being smarter. That's all. You know, they were just smarter. I mean, Ollie could have made a couple of subs before the 110th minute. I was surprised Mason Greenwood came off actually first. I thought Rashford might have come off. I think he had a really poor game, to be fair. But
he missed a glorious chance in the second half. But
yeah.
I've been saying it all season. And everyone's been so critical. And yeah, he has dropped some stinkers recently. Let's face it. But he's been injured all season. You knew he's been injured, and we knew this from the end of last season. Before we went into lockdown, when all the coronavirus stuff started kicking off, he had the back injury, didn't he? And he was meant to be missing for the rest of the season. Then COVID's come back, and thankfully, you know, the timing of it was bleeding glorious, the lockdown. Not to make light of coronavirus, obviously, but when we came back, he was in unreal form. Him, Martial and Greenwood up front were just banging him in. Bruno, obviously, behind him was unbelievable as well. And that's eventually what got us up the table into Champions League. But I just don't think he's been right all season. And he's still, despite that, put up the numbers that he has. He's still had a good season. If you look at his numbers on paper and you've not watched him play all season, you'd be like, what are you talking about? He's had an absolutely tremendous season. That's how good Rashford is.
20-odd goals, is it?
Yeah. That's how good Rashford is. And he's are we almost disrespecting him? Not to link it back to England, but are we almost disrespecting him by not making him an automatic starter on that left-hand side?
See, I wouldn't have been surprised. Well, I would have been a surprise, actually. But do you think Gareth may have considered not taking him to help with his injury? Give him like the summer off, basically.
Boys,
Josh.
Here he is.
I don't know, Dale. I'd pose that one to Josh. Actually, we'll let Josh get involved with that one. So
I have been listening in, boys, whilst I've been cooking, so I'm up to date with where you are.
We're just saying about Rashford, and I just mentioned would you have been surprised, or do you think Gareth may have considered obviously not taking Rashford because of obviously basically most of the season?
I mean, he's not had one of the best seasons by his standards, has he? But going back to something that you said earlier on about the squad lacking experience, that's a big element with Rashford, isn't it? He's been round the boys, he's been to the tournaments and that. So I think, I think obviously there's that element about his game that he brings to the squad rather than obviously form, which if you're talking form, you would take Lingard, wouldn't you? He's, you know, Lingard brings the form, Rashford brings the experience and unfortunately not the form. But if you get Rashford on his day, you know he can cause absolute torment for most defences, can't he? We've unfortunately not seen it in the Europa League final, which I know you boys were discussing a second ago. But you know, every world-class player has a bad day. You know, Lionel Messi doesn't bring it every game, does he? He brings it to most games, but not every game. Ronaldo doesn't bring it to every game, and he is still young. He's got a lot to learn, but for his age, he's really mature, I think. So. I need to refresh my memory of who the selected lineup actually is. Could you put I know you got a graphic so that I can just have a quick refresh of the team.
Is this for the England team?
Yeah, please, mate. Just so
we don't have a graphic for the team. We have a graphic for who was left out. So we'll go back, revisit that. They are the 7 who are missing out on the Euros. Obviously, Mason Greenwood. Is the odd one out, kind of, because he was injured. And me and Dale discussed before, would he have been going even if he wasn't injured? We both think he would have been, and he would have got in ahead of Saka. But the rest of him, bunged off. See you later. Don't need you.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would have predicted. Yeah, I probably would have predicted all of those, apart from Greenwood. I like Ward-Prowse. You know, I just think obviously plays for a team that haven't really. Hit the standards that we expect of them maybe this year. but that's their own fault because they've had a couple of good seasons, haven't they? So
yeah, we'll link back into England in a second.
Oh,
yeah,
has he gone?
We've gone quiet there, mate.
Oh god, here we go.
Are you?
Hey, there we go. Modern technology.
Just for any listeners that don't know, me and Dale did go camping this weekend, and we got quite drunk, didn't we, mate?
Quite.
Have you been feeling today? It wasn't easy.
2-day hangovers, don't they? They just don't go. No.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was kind of on the mend this morning.
And me, sort of half awake at my desk for the first hour or two.
Going back to work struggle.
We'll link that in because you would have all been watching the Champions League final together, wouldn't you? So watching it live, lads, pissed out your faces, but tell me what you can remember. Pep Guardiola, for me, has absolutely fucked it, and that is the story of this game.
I think Pep Guardiola and Man City in general have bottled it there because they had most of the possession from what I remember through beer-tinted goggles. They had most of the possession, but Chelsea had the better chances, and that, for me, was the difference. I mean, Timo Werner could have had a hat-trick, probably, based on what I remember. The guy, for me, has all of the minerals to be a class striker. Obviously, he showed that at Red Bull Leipzig. Hasn't clicked for him. I've said it previously. It hasn't clicked for him at Chelsea yet, but I still think it can because the guy's willing to get in the right positions and cause torment with his pace is there. He just can't hit a barn door yet. Just completely lost confidence with his finishing. But that is, for me, that is all he's lacking. Just the end product, which unfortunately for him is what he's there for. So yeah, that is his job. So
yeah, for 50 million, we need some end product. Like at the end, he couldn't finish a wank at the moment. Like the way he's fucking playing,
couldn't even point at his Chelsea badge properly, could he?
No, he's like that. Fucking. There was a chance in the first half. I think it was midway for the first half, and he kind of scuffed it underneath his feet. And I just thought that is your whole entire season summed up. Your entire season, but he's got everything else. Like he's got pace, he's got power. He stretches defenders and defenses so well, and he just causes all sorts of problems with his positioning. He's just a constant headache as far as a defense is concerned because as a centre back, it's your worst nightmare because you're constantly in your head having to think, "Fucking hell, where is he now? Where is he now?" Like he was there a minute ago. Weren't you covering him? Well, and then you have to get the fullback in, and then two you're covering on one man, and then he's so good for creating space, pockets of space to other players like Kai Havertz and the like can exploit. And then, Kai Havertz goes and gets a goal for Chelsea, and it just proves the point, doesn't it? And it was a proper scuffy goal.
Yeah, Kai Havertz, my flop of the season from the previous podcast. had to be him, didn't it?
Hey, it was written, wasn't it? It was written.
Yeah, absolutely written just to make me look like an absolute mug on the podcast.
Brilliant. What do you think of the game, Dale?
I don't know. I mean, City for me just didn't turn up. But then again, Chelsea, they have beaten them twice in the last, prior to that, last 6 weeks or so. Did they just know how to play against City? No. And again, I look at sort of Chelsea's squad. Like I said before, James I thought was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Kante was,
he's unreal.
He was ridiculous. Mount put in a shift again as he has been doing recently. I thought that Silva going off early on. Well, say early on, it was about midway through the first half, wasn't it? I thought might have been a big blow. Obviously, the guy's vast amount of experience in these sort of games. But defensively, they done quite well. But I look at sort of City's squad. I didn't see really anyone sort of stand out to me.
No,
Foden seemed to play a bit deeper, and that because Sterling, I think, was on the left-hand side as well. And I think that made Foden just come that tad little bit deeper. And I don't think he was as effective sort of in that position as he has been recently for City. But I just didn't think City sort of turned up like they have done for 38 games of the Premier League as well. Well, I say 38. Ignore the first 10, but the last 28 games they were ridiculous. But it just, I don't know. Did the occasion get to him? Did Chelsea just have the number on him from the recent wins as well? Did Tuchel just do a job on Guardiola?
It's one of them. I think it's human nature, and it seems to be football Twitter nature, for everyone to look for like that one excuse as to why it went wrong. So like, you just said 3 or 4 things there. Was it this? Was it this? Was it this? Or was it that? I think it's a combination of everything. I think Tuchel in his last 2 games for Chelsea against City has just played it perfectly. I think the first one in the FA Cup, he got his tactics spot on. I think the next time in the Premier League, it was a fluke. Let's face it, it was a fluke.
Yeah, he got a bit lucky. Yeah, he got a bit lucky. That could have easily been 2-0 at half time. Aguero puts that penalty in. It's a different. It's a different result. You'd think in the end.
And but that gets in your head because then you lose one game and it's fair enough. I've lost one game, but then you lose another that you should have won, and someone misses a penalty, and you think, hang on, something's not going well here. And you start thinking about all that. And then the Champions League, it's a big pressure game. There's loads of build-up towards it. Tuchel's got his number, this, that, the rest of it. And then I think he's probably the night before, a couple of days before, just changed the whole thing. I think he probably was going to build everything again around Fernandinho and Rodri. And he's just changed it at the last minute and thought, no, fuck yous, I'm going to go this time. And it just, they had no Kante around the midfield. He was outstanding. If he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, it's him or Lewandowski. Who's been better in the past 12 to 18 months? Who's been better? I mean, Lewandowski deserves it just for the bleeding last 2 calendar years. He scored like 1,000 goals, like being Muller's record and stuff. But,
I mean, he's pretty much won every trophy going the last 18 months or so. He's all the German Cups. I mean, obviously not this season's Champions League, but obviously last season's. Yeah, he's broke Muller's record in the German league for goals in a season. That guy's won pretty much everything. Going bar, obviously the World Cup, which obviously Kante's obviously got that recently, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, I don't think you'd sort of disagree with either one of them. They both got reasons.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone would be too disappointed if it went either way, in my eyes. But
no, I completely agree. I think it's probably a combination of a few different reasons. Josh, we're going to let you take the floor for the next segment as we... Wow, that best sound in the world, that cracking open a bottle or a can. We'll let you take the lead for this next segment, Josh, as we discuss the managerial merry-go-round.
The managerial merry-go-round.
This is a special segment for this week, the managerial merry-go-round. And truth be told, I put this together early this morning, and then the Carlo news come through. Yeah. So, Josh, it's been a bit of a rough day for you, mate. How are you feeling?
Severely disappointed, mate. Severely disappointed with today. It's, I mean, I'm surrounded by quite a lot of Evertonians at work, and we've all just been anxiously waiting for the news that he was going to Real Madrid all day, and then discussing who we're going to get in. So,
who are you expecting?
Nuno, probably. Nuno.
Who are you wanting?
Yeah, that's a good question.
In an ideal world, I would go. Obviously, I would have never have expected Carlo Ancelotti to join us. So I think it's fair for me to think outside the box and think Everton want to go for a big, big name, but I'd never see this guy coming out. I'd love to get Simeone at Everton because I just love his absolute grit. And I said it about Tottenham in the podcast the other week that they need somebody like that to instill some grit in the team, to battle out games. We've completely lost ours at Goodison Park, and I want to find that again. So I want a manager that's just going to build a tough, hard-working, hard squad. So, yeah, he'd be my ideal. I'd absolutely love Simeone to be at Everton.
He'd be spectacular. Danny, welcome to the podcast. Nice of you to join us 40 minutes in. We weren't expecting Danny tonight, so this is actually a pleasant surprise. So we'll go to you, the now host of the podcast again.
Oh, fuck that meeting.
Yeah, no, you're in. I'll take over. Tonight, mate. Don't worry. What do you think with Everton, mate? Because the thing for me is they went big with Carlo. And they weren't expecting it to end like this. They can't go back now, surely, can they? It's got to be another marquee manager.
Got to be Conte. It's got to be Conte. You get a new stadium. You've got somewhat ambitious owners. You've just had Carlo. You can't drop down massively to like Eddie Howe. I'm looking at either Conte or Nuno.
If we get Eddie Howe in, that's it. I'm calling it a day. As an Everton fan, I'm calling it a day. If you'd have asked me 2 years ago, who do you want in? Eddie Howe would have been in the mix, but the guy's been out of the game, and we've had Carlo Ancelotti since then. We've stepped up the game now. We're not that sort of club anymore. If we go backwards, then you might as well just say goodbye to all the marquee players that we've got. Get rid of James. I mean, does he even want to stay anymore now Carlo's gone? Might as well get rid of Alan, sell DCL, Richarlison. Let's just go down to the Championship. Fuck it. Let's fold. Let's call it a day. Might as well.
Fucking hell. This Carlo news has messed you up on it.
Can't win anything. Mate, it's like signing a Wobie again. I just can't deal with it.
It's got Conte. It has to be Conte.
Yeah. Conte.
That's what you've got to aim for. You have to aim for Conte.
Conte is the marquee manager signing, like the big trophy manager that we need to be going for. If we get Nuno in, I liked what he did at Wolves. Obviously left them short and relied too much on his small squad and came unstuck because of that this season. But you would think with the financial backing that we've got at Everton, he'll have free rein to buy likely some Portuguese players. Maybe bring in a couple of the lads from Wolves. We've discussed it before. There are a couple of lads at Wolves that would make it into most, if not all, Premier League sides, at least the squad players. I'd take him. There's been honestly some bad names knocking about today. I've even heard Steven Gerrard mentioned in the mix to come over to Everton. I'm sorry, but who fucking came out with that toss? Who came out with that?
Who on this planet thinks that Steven Gerrard is going to Everton? Like, you're having a laugh.
Someone that wants a click, mate. Someone that wants a click.
That's like Klopp leaving and Duncan Ferguson being unveiled at Anfield. It's just never happening. It's never happening.
I'm sorry, but who in their right mind thinks that Rangers come close to Everton as well? Enjoy that, Scottish fans.
Don't get me started on the Scottish Premiership. That's for Dickhead of the Week. I think, do you know what? Yeah, I think Nuno would be a shout. I think there is a couple of players he could pluck from Wolves. Patricio, for a start.
Yeah,
he's a very good Premier League standard keeper. He'd be an upgrade on Pickford. Although Pickford, ended up having half a decent season. I'll give him credit where credit's due. The lad up front, what's his name? The young lad, 22, 23-year-old. Oh, for Wolves, left-footed.
What, with the curly hair? Oh,
Neto. Pedro Neto. He's unreal.
Podence is decent.
Podence is unreal. He was going to be the next one.
Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez is probably going to be one for a shout.
Yeah. The question is, I'd say Raul Jimenez, but the question's always going to be with him, is he coming back? And if he does come back, what version of Raul Jimenez are we going to see?
Yeah.
But there's definitely with George Mendes, with the link there with the agent, sky's the limit. Sky's the limit with Nuno. I think he might even be an upgrade on Carlo.
No, I wouldn't go that
I've-
far.
I've-
He's not won what Carlo's won.
He's not a chance to win what Carlo's won, though.
True, but I still don't think he would.
I just think it's really shitty. I ignore that out of respect for Nuno. I just think it's really shitty what Carlo Ancelotti's done because he's taught the big game and he's blatantly lied and treated not just clubs like Napoli, but he's treated Everton like a stepping stone. They were a stepping stone to get back to a Real Madrid or a Juventus.
If Real
or a
Madrid
Barca.
come knocking, you go in. If Real Madrid come knocking, you go in.
If Real Madrid knock on the door for Ollie, is Ollie going?
Yeah. Well, no,
No, he's not.
because United and Madrid are on par. Everton is a step below Real Madrid.
Yeah, he's got a point. The thing with Carlo and my opinion of his move over there today is that they got rid of him once before.
Mhm.
Like, if it was me and a team had got rid of me after I'd just won the Champions League for them, I'd have that'd be a sour note for me. I would hold a grudge against them. Obviously, he's a better man than I am, and he's more mature than I am. But and he understands the managerial game better than I do. He understands the way that the mechanisms of it and how it works. You know, if you fall out of favour, that's it. You're gone. It's cutthroat. I get that, but I would hold a grudge, and I would always consciously have that in my mind that they could quickly get rid of me, just like they did before. If things don't go well, I mean, he's picking up a team there that aren't performing like we're used to, an aging team with a lot of players that aren't good enough for that squad. They've underperformed this year. This year they've underperformed. Obviously didn't win the title. Pretty much gifted it to their city rivals, which for Real Madrid fans will be an embarrassment because we know how fickle the fans are and how much they demand of their managers. That's another thing. The fans, they probably are one of the most demanding set of fans I've ever seen in football. As soon as you have maybe one or two defeats, the white hankies are out and they're all, jeering and booing you from the crowds. The Bernabeu is not a nice place to be if you're losing or not performing.
No. But have you not noticed this with all Real Madrid managers that they always have at least 2 stints? Every manager that's there always has 2 goes. It's like there's got to be some law at Real Madrid that makes you want to go back.
Yeah, he said that he had a really good relationship. Well, it'll be money, but he said he had a really good relationship with Florentino Perez previously, didn't he? And he's maintained a good relationship with the club since.
So I've been in work all day, boys, so I've been completely out of the loop. Has he actually gone? Because the last I heard was Marca reporting it that he might go, but he's going to be reported in the next 2 hours. Has he actually gone?
He said on social media that he was going to Real Madrid. He actually said
that's poor form from him. That
It's just over a weekend gone. Apparently, they only got in touch with him over the weekend, and he's gone already. It's amazing what a bank holiday can do. But I just think it's shady, to be honest. And there was something that came out today about Carlo. He was like, it's not about the money. Bollocks! It's not about the fucking money. David Alaba's another one. It's not about the money. It's just a chance to play for Real Madrid. Really? You're getting paid 450 grand a week then? Who the fuck negotiated that? Was that just something they come up with, was it?
Where are they getting this money from? I thought they were supposed to be in debt.
Oh, mate, it's fucking shit. Lewandowski, all right. And don't get me wrong, footballers should be getting the bulk of the money that comes from football. Let's face it, they are the talent. That's what everyone's watching. That's what everyone tunes in to watch. But Lewandowski came out, I don't know if it was a couple of days ago today or what, and he's come out and said, it's ridiculous, FIFA and UEFA between them all. It's getting even worse and worse with all the games that we're having to play. You're just going to end up with a poorer product and stuff. All right, you take a pay cut then. Take a pay cut. Because ultimately, I know FIFA are greedy, and that's where it comes from with them. And UEFA are greedy, and clubs are greedy, and it's just full of greedy cunts. And it's a business, and that's the way it is now. But the biggest businessmen in football are the players. And you are getting paid so much money, so much. And if you all take a pay cut and go back to normal size wages, then we don't have to play so many games to make the money that it takes to run businesses. Football clubs must be running at fucking minimal profits. If you looked at a football club from a business sense and you looked at the profit margins, you'd probably be looking at it thinking, this is not fucking sustainable. You've got 22 people there who are being paid far too much money. I'm starting to sound like Lee now, so I'll end this rant in a second, talking about money and business. When's it going to end? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. They get paid far too much. And players are talking about playing too many games and stuff. Well, that's the nature of the beast that you're creating.
How much
you can't argue that. I'm sorry, no. This is FIFA and UEFA for having too many competitions during pandemics. This Euros should have never happened. It should have just been cancelled and it should have let that do somewhere off. Because all them teams that are in the Euros now, all them players are going to be fucked come, I don't know, November-ish. And then you've got to go through another year and you've got a tiny break in the summer. And then, oh, wait, there is the World Cup in the Christmas time. There's only so much they can put the body through.
But United are going to be fine because Mason Greenwood's gone home today. Yeah, boy! He's missed out.
I just caught you chatting about the England squad when I was on my way home.
We'll look back to it in a second. But before we do, I want to play this because it's the final time I can play it before I'm going to have to amend it for next week because Carlo Ancelotti's no longer an Everton employee, let's say. But let's round off our slagging off of Everton.
What on earth was that?
At least it didn't kick me out this time.
Let's sandwich you before we go to Dickhead of the Week, and Danny will let you talk a little bit of European football as well to round off if you want to. We'll go back because we've obviously got Josh and Danny now, so we can dive into all the bits and pieces we went through at the start, Dale. 26-man squad obviously got announced today. Me and Dale have pretty much covered all the basics, haven't we? Who's been left out, sort of shocks, who we're expecting to be in there and wasn't even called into the provisional squad. In terms of the lineups, we'll go over a comment that's come in actually from Pitside Podcast. Tune into those guys, by the way. They've got a very, very good podcast. How can you put Rashford ahead of Sancho based on their recent forms? I don't think Rashford and Sancho are even in contention with each other. They play on opposite sides for me. And obviously, yeah, Sancho's had an a bit of a dodgy start to the season, but the last 3-4 months he's been on fire for me. I think he's a shoo-in for the right-hand side.
Sancho starts.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, Sancho starts. I wouldn't play Rashford on the right-hand side. For me, he's a left-sided winger.
Yeah, I don't think they're in contention with each other. I don't think they're in competition with each other at all, Rashford and Sancho.
No, nor would I sort of press Rashford over to that side. I wouldn't want him cutting into. He's too weak on that side. Just stick him on his favourite side.
Mm-hmm. Well, problem,
he's got competition side, hasn't he? That's the problem because you've got Sterling, who didn't play very well in the Champions League final, might I add. So he's out of form. And then obviously you've got Jack Grealish as well, who is a fabulous left winger. There's quite a lot of competition for a left wing. You don't usually find that in England squads either.
I know, traditionally, historically. I mean, the golden generation we had, we're always trying to shoe on Paul Scholes or Joe Cole or someone like that on that side. We'll talk about that anyway, and we'll talk about what me and Dale were saying before. And Dale, I said it, I think you hit the nail on the head. 4 right backs in the squad. That almost certainly means we're playing 5 at the back, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Love this
tactic. What does the defence look like? So Croatia, 13th of June, starting lineup. Who's starting? Who's guaranteed a place? And who do you think Southgate is going to play in the other positions? And where are the key battles in terms of who gets places?
I think Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw battling out for the left side will be a key battle because they're both. I mean, Luke Shaw for me starts just because he's been one of the best players in the Premier League all season consistently. But Ben Chilwell is also a great player, a really, really good player. So it's hard to not have him playing, I think.
I thought he had a great end of the season. I thought he was brilliant again the other night. Leicester, even the FA Cup final against Leicester, I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch for Chelsea. In fact, he might have been the only Chelsea player that turned up that day, and he was unlucky not to. I mean, he wasn't unlucky; it was definitely should have been disallowed like it was. But he was unlucky not to be rewarded for his efforts.
Well, so we discussed about there being 4 right backs in the team. I'm interested. Who would you boys start in right back? Because I know I would actually have Kieran Trippier starting because he's had a great season. He's just won the league and he's got the experience that we need in the squad, in a young squad. So I think I'd probably start Trippier.
I think for the first game, I think he does start Trippier. Like what you've just said there, the experience of sort of being there at a tournament as well. I mean, he's had he's a La Liga champion this season. He's had a great season there. I would say he would start Trippier first game. And I'm probably with you. I think he probably will start Chilwell at left back or left wing back, whichever, I think he's playing 3 centre backs as well. But Walker, Stones, and Mings, I think that'll be that back sort of 5-3, whatever.
Danny's shaking his head. He likes to be different. Go on, Danny.
I think Trent is in the squad to play. I think Trent starts right wing back, and I think he's in the squad because he's scared of media backlash. I'm being brutally honest when I say this. Southgate is a fucking pussy. He's a massive fan. He's a yes man. It's why he's the perfect man for the England job, because the FA just do whatever they feel like. He's scared of the media backlash, and that's why Trent Alexander-Arnold's in the squad. He's not going to take him to not play him. So he starts right wing back. I think Shaw should start left wing back, but he's not. He's going to start Chilwell again because he sucks off the Southerners. Connor Cody's going to play in the middle.
No, don't do it.
I'm sorry, he is.
Oh, it's gone there.
He is. He absolutely shouldn't, but he's going to, because you know what Southgate's like. He's a prick. He's going to play John Stones next to him or Kyle Walker out of position, mind you. And he'll force a half-fit Harry Maguire in at left centre-back, which he doesn't work in a 3. He's going to play 2 holding midfielders in front of it, and we are in for the most disappointing Euros ever after all this promise of being second favourites. It is going to be wank.
Yeah. You know what? I can't disagree with any of that.
But why would he play 5 at the back if he's going to play Harry Maguire? Surely he would only play 5 at the back if Harry Maguire is not fit enough yet to play.
He's going to play 5 at the back because he's named 5 midfielders.
I said to Dale before, we take 5 midfielders and Jordan Henderson's not fit. So we have 4 midfielders. We have the same amount of midfielders as we do right backs.
Almost the same amount of goalkeepers as well.
Yeah.
One more than our goalkeepers.
Honestly, it's fucking... and people listening, you can disagree with me all you want, man. The truth hurts. Our right back situation, Kieran Trippier has had a great season, has won La Liga. Fucking... Who do you want to start with next? Walker has just come runner-up in the Champions League final, has won a cup and has won the Premier League, has had a great season. Where should we go next? Should we start with the other right-back who probably still won't get a game? Again, had an amazing season, has won the Champions League, was probably one of Chelsea's best players in that game, Reece James. Trent has been shite all fucking season. Defensively has always been suspect, but has picked it up for a few games at the end of the season. Where's the argument? Where's the debate? We're going off form. Trent shouldn't even be there. Like, I can think of 2 other English right-backs who didn't even get in the provisional who were ahead of Trent on form for this season. Mm-hmm. He shouldn't be there. But because of media pressure and fan pressure on social media, just because Trent played a short... Danny, you put it perfectly before on Twitter. Played a short corner once. And because that gets played over and over again and things like that. And I sound like I'm being disrespectful. I rate Trent. I really do. I think he's a good player. I don't think his final position is going to be right back. I think
I'm sorry. Sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. Let's go here, right? Everyone talks about Trent and his use of the ball. He broke the giving the possession away record 3 times in a season from right back.
I don't think he's a right back.
I don't care.
This is my argument, though. He's not a right back.
No, I don't care if you can occasionally put in a good cross. You know what? If we're going off someone with name value and they can put in a cross, let's give David Beckham out retirement. Let's go there.
If we're going off selections of right backs who've got good delivery, Kieran Trippier.
Kieran Trippier and Reece James are well ahead because they can actually make a tackle.
And they can defend. This is the thing. And I just don't... Where's the argument? Like, is there something that we're not seeing? Is there something that we're not seeing with Trent Alexander-Arnold? He's a good player. I don't think he's a right back. I think he belongs in midfield. I think he's much more adept there, and I think that's where he's going to end up in his career. He's not a defender. He's not a defender.
No, he's not.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
He's not the only reason why I can think it is potentially he sees that already and he's taken Trent as a midfield option. But I'm sorry, James Ward-Prowse has been fucked over in that case.
Yeah, definitely.
Because Ward-Prowse has had another exceptional season, 2 years in a row that he's not missed a Premier League minute.
Yeah.
And he's been the best player in that team for 2 years in a run, other than Danny Ings, who has also been robbed, by the way.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And I fucking hate Southgate. The sooner we're out of these Euros and the sooner he gets sacked, the better for English football, because he's fucking dreadful, honestly.
I think they should sack him as well. If we don't do well in the Euros, I think that's it now.
If we don't make the final, he has to be sacked.
You know what? We're going to go fucking win it. And he's just going
Yeah.
Honestly.
Do you know what? I hope you have to eat my words, Dale. I hope you have to eat all my words.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I want him to win it. I want him to win everything. I really do hope I'm wrong, and he's not the useless twat that I think he's going to be. But just got a comment off Talk Total Football, who Danny will know very well. All right, gents. Foden and Grealish can both play in the middle if he wants to play number 10. So effectively got 7 centre mids for 3 spots, which is not wrong. Like you're trying to sort of categorise them into defence and midfield and attack, and sometimes they blur the lines. I
don't like Grealish coming in. I think he's so effective on that wing. I just stick him on the left.
Just to plug that podcast, boys. They had a great chat about the England squad yesterday. So if anyone's looking for another 4 different opinions, by all means, go and check them out on YouTube. Fantastic chat.
The pod you were on last week was great as well. It's really good.
Yeah, cheers for having us, fellas. Sorry, just completely cut you off there, mate.
No, I didn't have any more to say, mate. I mean, Foden, he can do a great job in the middle. I'd prefer to keep Grealish to the left if it was me making the decisions. That's it.
Yeah, same. He's too good on that left, like too good. Because then you give him the license to drift in, and then that gives Foden the license to drift out. And for me, if we're starting 11s, I'm playing 4-2-3-1 with front 4 of Sancho, Foden, Grealish, and Kane, and just let them run riot.
Yeah. Well, let's go there. Let's go around quickly. No explanation, no nothing. Just name names right now. On injuries, on form, on everything, you're starting 11 against Croatia that's going to get the job done. We'll go Dale first.
I've not really seen it yet.
We'll go Dale first.
Henderson in net. Right back, Trippier. Left back, Shaw. If he's fit, Maguire and Stones middle. If he's fit, and then our goal, Henderson and Rice in front of them 2, and then pretty much what Danny just said for the front 4.
Danny?
Very similar, to be honest. Henderson in net, Reece James, Stones, Maguire, Shaw. If Maguire isn't fit, you go in Mings. I'm going Rice and Bellingham in midfield. I don't think everything that Bellingham has done this season, he does not deserve to be dropped for Jordan Henderson, who's played about 20 minutes. I think that's absolute bollocks. The fact that Henderson's in the squad is absolute bollocks. And then, my front 4, Foden, Grealish, Sancho, and Harry Kane.
Josh Lahr?
Dean Henderson, Trippier right back, Luke Shaw left back, Mings in for Maguire because I'd rather not risk him. I'd rather try and get him a bit fitter for. I am talking initial game. I'd rather leave him on the bench and not risk him and have him in the latter stages. Mings in the middle with Stones, exactly the same as Danny. Jude Bellingham. So we've got a runner in midfield and Declan Rice to just sit back and cover and help the defence out, and then the same front 4 as the other lads.
Henderson has to start. He's going to start Pickford, but Henderson has to start. We all know Henderson needs to start. He's the number 1. If we're going to be sensible, we need a back 4 of Trippier, Walker, Trent and James. Just fucking play them all. Nah, just right backs. This is what I'm saying. We don't need so many. But then when you go with the original three that we should have had, it's difficult, isn't it? But I would probably say Trippier based on experience. And for what he did for us in 2018, I think he deserves it. I know I said no explanations. That's the last time I'll do that. Sorry, I can't help myself. Shaw left back. Mings and Stones in the middle. Maguire's not fit. Henderson's not fit, so I think you're on the money there, Danny. I think Bellingham and Rice in the middle. I think... Where'd you go from there? Kane, Sancho, Grealish on the left, and Foden just behind.
The only change I would potentially... What I think he could make, it'd be maybe push Foden out wide and play Mason Mount instead, because Mount's running will be dangerous. But like the Bellingham one has to be a shoo-in for me. He is. You cannot. I mean, I know you boys don't watch much European football, but you boys watched the semi-finals against Manchester City. Anyone that watched them games knows how good he is. He is ready, and he's ready now. This isn't a Theo Walcott from 2006 where we're taking a kid to get experience. He's ready to run this first team. That's Declan Rice.
Do you play Bellingham though, or do you play Mount with Rice in the middle and let Mount rather just box to box it a bit?
I prefer Mount further up personally. I prefer Mount a bit closer to Kane. I'd prefer Bellingham with a bit more protection for the defence. Just personally.
Go on, Josh.
That's why I could see Grealish being dropped for Foden and then Mount in the middle, and I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
No, I agree with that. The only thing for me, if I was looking over the team again, the only one that I would maybe swap out is the Trippier for Kyle Walker, because I think that they're like for like, basically. You know, they both just won a title. They're both experienced right backs, and they both had good seasons. I used to feel less comfortable with Kyle Walker at right back, but I just think he's such a seasoned, steady right back nowadays. Obviously he's absolutely rapid and he's strong as an ox, and I see him getting forward more and more these days, which I like to see. So yeah, upon review I'd actually start Kyle Walker. After everything that I've said, I'd probably start Kyle Walker rather than Kieran Trippier.
I think when we did that podcast a while ago talking about starting 11s, I was the only one that put Kyle Walker in my starting 11. I think out of the three, they're all interchangeable, aren't they? Him, Trippier and James. I won't argue with any. Notice that none of us picked Trent, Gareth.
Yeah. So total football again. There, no love for Mount. This is the thing. This is how good our options are. Like, who do you pick? Do you go with Mount? Do you go with Foden? Like, do you put Grealish in there? Like, or what do you do? I'm hold my hands up. I'm willing to admit when I was wrong, and I've been very critical of Mason Mount. And Dale, that wasn't a well-timed cough. He just needed to cough there. He wasn't calling bullshit on me.
Yeah.
I was wrong about Mason Mount. You know, he's outstanding. He really is. He's a great player.
Yeah.
He's a great player.
It's the Phil Foden effect, isn't it? Yeah. It's the Phil Foden effect. He's just that good. And that's not playing down how good Mount is, because Mount's, like you, Chris, I was wrong about him. I thought that he was, just a good player, not an outstanding player, but he's an all-rounder, can do absolutely everything, and puts an absolute graft in for whatever team he plays for. So I was wrong about him. Got a lot of love for him these days. One of the best players that Chelsea have got, and I wouldn't have an issue with him starting over Foden, but I just think Foden's absolutely outstanding and one of the stars of the future, if not the present.
He's Paul Gascoigne reincarnated. He's just fucking unreal. Honestly, I can't say enough good things about Phil Foden. Speaking of good things, though, should we go to the opposite side and say bad things about people? It's time.
You know what? Under 18s, yeah, we're furloughing you. No, it's just not something you do.
No.
Not that week. Here we go. Oh, dickhead of the week.
Dickhead of the week.
It's Dickhead of the Week. It is the internet's favourite football segment. It is the time of every podcast on the 4M1C calendar where we decide who is the footballing Dickhead of the Week, and then Dale has to pick the winner. We've lost Josh again. he just seems to have an issue with when we play videos, and he just fucks off straight
kicks me out.
after. So we'll try and get him back. You're gonna have to restart and then come back, mate. But Danny, do you want to boot us off this week, mate?
Oh God, where do I start? I have a fair few managers to list off. Gareth Southgate, for obvious reasons. An awful team selection that when I saw the 33-man squad, I was really excited. And now I've seen the full squad, I'm not very excited anymore. I'm just fully expecting France to walk over us in that second round. Carlo Ancelotti, for being a backstabbing cunt. You do not, without any negotiations. Obviously, things get leaked on Twitter and Sky all the time. You're not telling me that this has not been just a split decision. Madrid contacted him over the weekend and he's gone, yeah, fuck it, I'm going back. Leaving Everton in the mud. Bollocks. Absolute bollocks. However, 59 games this season, a certain manager has played a holding midfielder. They've played 60 games in the total season, and the one game that he did not play holding midfielder, they lost the biggest game in football. Pep Fraudiola, you are my dickhead of the week.
An excellent
And you know what? Thank you. Thank you for cocking it up. So for that, you are my legend of the week as well.
Excellent. Josh Lamb?
As the Evertonian of the group, there's only one for me, isn't it? And it's Carlo Ancelotti. Fuck you. And I hope you do shit at Real Madrid. That's all I can say. You took us on as a project. You've done no better with us. We finished 10th, and now you fucked off to Real Madrid, who are also shite, and I hope you do even worse. That's my dickhead of the week. Thank you.
I bet you've been waiting for that all day, haven't you?
Oh, I'll sleep well now that I've got that off my chest. I will.
I mean, mine's simple. And we'll go to Dale last because you get to pick the winner. Mine's simple. You've gone for Pep. You've gone for Carlo. It's got to be Gareth Southgate. In a squad of 26 players, 4 of them are right backs, man. This can't be stated enough. This cannot be stated enough. And do you know what? Do you know why he's a dickhead? He's not a dickhead because of that. He's a dickhead because he originally wanted a 23-man squad. He moaned about it being bigger than that. Then he announces a 33-man squad. And despite having to cut it back down again, there's still 4 right backs. And do you know what? Even if there was a 23-man squad, I guarantee there'd still be 4 right backs. I guarantee it. And he said on the radio earlier today, if there was more right backs at my disposal, I probably would have picked them as well. Would you? Would you, Gareth? Hey? What are you doing? This isn't just some shit job you've got, mate. You're toying with us all. It's England. We're all in this together. Do you not understand? My heartstrings. Everything just relies on your decisions. Stop it. And you're my dickhead of the week. Josh, you got one more?
One more from me. Unfortunately, as we're doing managers, I think Ollie deserves a shout as well for what he did in the Europa League final. We've not really discussed it too much, but I just think he got his tactics all wrong.
Good.
Yeah, got his tactics all wrong. Should have made subs when he didn't. And because he didn't, they started to get the momentum and absolutely dominated the extra time. Obviously, it went to penalties, so he managed to hold out and his tactics held that long. You could even throw David De Gea into the mix if we want to start throwing that about.
Oh, God.
You know, I mean, any goalkeeper that can't make one save out of 11, well, 10, because the 11th was... 11, sorry. You could have said 11. The goalkeeper. I mean, the goalkeeper for them, that penalty was just like a goal kick into the top corner, wasn't it? It was like a laser beam, just absolutely rifled it. Why did David De Gea not do that? You know, just pretend it was a goal kick. So 2 nominations, smaller nominations there. I think Ollie got his tactics wrong, and I don't understand the substitutions that he did make, to be honest. Didn't understand them at all. And then David De Gea for not making a single save in the penalty shootout and then missing his pen. And, you know, that I think it's fair to say that is his last hurrah, isn't it? That is his parting gift to Man United, that you lost the Europa League, because we've discussed it and it's probably the fact that he's going to leave now. So his last, after everything that he's done for you, and he's been an unbelievable player and won Player of the Year, I think, for a couple of seasons, didn't he? The one thing that he's leaving on is a really, really bad note. So that, for me, makes him a dickhead as well.
Yeah. Sorry, boys, I've got another 2 managers to throw in.
Go on, mate. Throw them all in. Let's get a nice variation in today.
Just a management round this week.
Jose Mourinho for trying to convince Donnarumma to join Roma. What are you doing, mate? No.
Brilliant.
And Mikel Arteta for trying to sign Andre Onana when he's suspended on a doping ban. You're signing a goalkeeper who cannot even legally play football.
His name's Onana.
What's his name? Onana. And I've got a winner from Andrew there. You can get on the comments, Chris. Andy Thompson there, Dickhead of the Week, pet for me. And here Southgate saying today he's going to play Lingard in the friendly tomorrow, even though he's not named in the squad.
Oh, that was cracker.
If I was Lingard, I'd have fucked that off and come back to Manchester, mate. Sort out your transfer for the summer. Do not play for this squad when you're not in it. Fuck
Andrew,
that.
I didn't want to talk about this, Andrew, and I purposely didn't mention it. But if you want to go there, let's go there. Who names a squad, right? Who names a squad for a Euros, turns around to 3 of the players, not 7 of them, to 3 of them apparently. He's only said this to Lingard, I think it was Watkins, and it was Ward-Prowse. I only said it to them 3 apparently when he was doing his interview before. Do you want to stick around the squad? Obviously, they're going to say yeah, because they're going to take that as an invitation of, oh, there might be a way back in for me. Then turns around and goes, oh, they're amazing. Lingard will probably start tomorrow. Why? Why would Lingard start in a European Championships warm-up game when he's not going to be there playing? Why? What happens if he scores 5 goals tomorrow, and absolutely dicks on everyone? Look, what happens? Sorry, Saka. What can I say, mate? You got to go. You're never going to do it. So why are you torturing him? I just think that's abuse.
You know why he's playing, don't you? Because he doesn't fucking like Grealish. He's doing anything in his power to not start Jack Grealish.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fucking joke. Why are you starting Lingard? Let me just repeat that again. He's not in the squad, and he's going to play him in a warm-up game for the tournament. I don't understand. And everyone today has been trying. I've seen comments on Twitter that have been like, it's because Chelsea and City played in the Champions League. Stop trying to justify weird shit that Gareth Southgate does. No, it's not. There's 26 players in that squad. It is not because City and Chelsea are in the Champions League. There's more than enough players to not play Lingard, who is not in the squad. You can't justify it. I need to stop. Andrew, I told you shouldn't have done it, mate. But you got me back up.
You know what, boys? You're starting to look more and more like Connor Cody the more I see you, honestly, especially when you go on a rant with this new hairstyle and wearing an England shirt, mate. You are Connor Cody-esque.
See you in defence tomorrow, mate.
Yeah. yeah, good. That'll look like Connor Cody. You'll be seeing him at the heart of defence tomorrow.
No.
It's honestly unbelievable.
No.
Right, Dale, what are you saying, mate? You got a good choice there.
Well, I was just gonna throw a quick one in there. I was gonna throw what's his name, Villarreal manager Unai Emery, forgetting his tactics absolutely spot on and completely fucking up my night.
Good evening.
You know, we done a job. I fucking hated it. We lost. Prick.
I like it. I like that.
Let's be honest, right. We're all fluent Spanish speakers in here. United lost the Europa League final to a team that you could translate from Spanish to English as House Real. That's who we lost to the other day. They're absolutely shit. They come 7th in a shite La Liga. Was it 7th they come?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In a shite La Liga. Let's face it was shite this season. Real Madrid and Barcelona have been bleeding awful. They all tried in different ways to lose the title before Atletico finally got over the line and we lost. It's just appalling. Just a bad game.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. But I'll tell you what, it's an hard one this week, chaps. There's
just so many dickheads about, mate.
Yeah,
there is.
I mean, Fraudiola. I mean, like you said there, Danny, I mean, what was it, 59 games you say he's played Rodri or
Fernandinho. 59 out of 60.
Their biggest game of the season.
The biggest game in their history. Biggest game in their history.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's got it wrong. And obviously, Josh's very passionate rant there about Carlo.
Don't get me started again, mate.
No.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Just for the magnitude of the game, I'm gonna give it Pep. Just for just like say their biggest game in their history, and I just don't know what he did. I just don't know what he did. Whether he bottled it, just overcomplicated things, as the media tend to suggest he does, sort of when it gets to these sort of big games. But just didn't get it right for me, and I was happy about that. And I'm sure you was, Chris, and Danny, and Lee.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Oh, I was born.
You know, it was glorious, but yeah, for this week it's Pep for me. Any other week, I want to give it you and Carlo.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not even in the running. I don't think you understand, mate. Out of a squad of 26 players, 4 of them are right backs. Do you not understand?
All right, pipe down, Connor.
No, I agree with that. For audio, I have to do it for me. The one game of the season, not to piss an ass around. Lads, unless there's anything else, I think that is the end to a very strong podcast. That has been a belter this week. There's been so much to go over with England squads and all sorts of stuff. A little bit of housekeeping before we end. Follow us on social. If you've stuck with us for the entire time or whether you've just tuned in for bits and pieces, thank you for watching tonight. We are 4M1C. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on Instagram, we're on everything. We are also on YouTube. If you search for us on YouTube, search for 4Max1Soffit, but if you put 4M1T in there, you will also find us, because I tested that before, so it works, trust me. Drop your comments and questions live on the videos if you see them anyway. We won't be live anymore because this is ending, but if you see it on repeats and stuff on Twitter, drop comments and everything drop comments onto YouTube. If you watch it after the fact, we will get back to you and we will respond and we'll give you shout outs on future episodes. And for myself, Dale, Danny and Josh, thank you very much. We will try and put another episode out this week. We'll let everyone know on our social channels when that is happening. But if not, we will see you all next Monday. Peace. Say bye,
Southgate's
boys.
a prick.